Hello. Welcome. Thank you for coming out to beautiful Crystal Lake Central High School to hear the McHenry County College Concert Band. I would like to first, before I forget, because I will forget, thank the staff from Crystal Lake Central who have come here today to support this performance and to help us be able to have lights and sound and instruments and help you figure out how to get onto the stage. It was all very cool. So I would like to thank Mr. Keith Levin, band director here at Crystal Lake Central, and Mr. Steve Knope, who is running the, did I say that right? Yes, all right, who is running the sound and lights. So if you could please give them a round of applause. So the first piece was by a composer named Samuel Coleridge-Taylor, who is not Samuel Taylor Coleridge, is named after, right? So that's not a coincidence. His lineage is interesting. His mother was British, his father was African, and his father had actually been enslaved in the United States and had been repatriated to, I believe, Sierra Leone. I may be making that up, but he had been repatriated to Africa, had moved to England, and had met his mother. So there's a lot of cultural background going on. And this particular piece was the African Suite, which is originally for piano and then was done, he did an orchestra version later, and this is obviously a bandation of the orchestration of the piano piece. We have a theme for this concert. I don't know if you've caught it yet, but I don't want to tell you what it is yet either. Okay, cool. That was All the Pretty Little Horses by Andy Boysen, who is the former band director at Cary Grove High School. So there's a local connection there. So this piece is an old Appalachian folk song. More precisely, it's Afro-Latin. This comes from the Black American experience in Appalachia, which is a fascinating deep dive if you ever have the chance. Aaron Copland did a very famous setting of All the Pretty Little Horses, as well as a vocal solo, and there have been choral versions, but of course, the ultimate version, as always, is band. So, the next piece is based on the same melody. It's called Appalachian Counterpoint. It's by a different composer, David Gillingham. And it's a very different feel. My initial idea was to have them go right back to back with no break in between, like a Bach, chorale, and fugue situation. But I knew that specifically Kayla and Rachel were going to do such a good job that you were going to burst into applause at the end, and I couldn't have that anyway, so I just went ahead and decided to talk in between. Plus we have some stuff to set up. But, so Appalachian Counterpoint, you will definitely hear, is the same melody with a whole lot more stuff going on. I don't remember what I had planned next because I wasn't sure we were going to get through that one. Okay, so that was Appalachian Counterpoint, and if you are keeping track, maybe you've picked up on the theme, and I've never done a theme concert before, but this just seemed like the time. These are all about travel, right, and they're all about place, because we spent 2 years not being able to travel, and then we went travel crazy, a lot of us. And I had people in Africa this semester on photo safari, which sounds amazing. I had people for extended vacations in Europe. That's an inside joke. People traveling all over, and it's great. Everybody's talking about how they, where they're going and how everything's so booked and everything, because everybody's traveling, right? So I decided for this semester to do a concert that looks at place and that looks at travel. So that's kind of the thread that is binding all of these together. The next piece is called Inglesina, the Little English Girl. And this is a march that a lot of people do. It's very popular. It wasn't written to be marched. How do you know a march isn't meant to be marched? First of all, it has timpani, which don't march very well. And this march slows down, which doesn't really work in a parade, not on purpose. So it's a concert march, and it was written for an Italian town band. And the fascinating part of European music history is that in the late 1800s, the early 1900s, there were 5,000 town bands in Italy. These municipal bands, some professional bands, all these little, on the small side generally, concert bands. This whole repertoire for these Italian town bands. And this is one of the only ones that has kind of made it into our repertoire. And so one of the projects that we worked on this semester was to try to look at Inglesina, which almost everybody has done. How many of you had played this march before this semester? Right. Lots of us, right? And to look at it fresh, and to go back, and we listened to recordings from like the early 1900s, which are fun. And we talked about, different styles and things. And it was a really cool experience. So hopefully, this is Inglesina like you've never heard it before. So that was an Italian piece called The Little English Girl. And next we have a piece called Russian Sailor's Dance from a ballet called The Red Poppy. Now it's called Russian Sailor's Dance, but the composer is from Ukraine, and his father was German. His father was a well-known band instrument maker, actually. His mother was Polish. They had settled in Ukraine, and he was very loyal to Ukraine and Ukrainian culture. He Ukrainized his name in a very fun way later in life. It's always cool to look at. And the Red Poppy is a ballet that is about the Soviet sailors in China. It takes place in China. And there's not a lot to the plot because it's a ballet and they don't have words, right? So they're kind of limited there. But the Russian Sailor's Dance was by far the hit from the Red Poppy, right? This is the thing that has outlived this ballet, which is still done occasionally. But this piece in particular. And Glière did not actually write this piece. It is a well-known Ukrainian, Belarusian folk song and folk dance that is Little Apple, right? That is based on an English folk dance, the hornpipe. So we're kind of going full circle with this. We have a Ukrainian based on English dance called Russian Sailor. Yeah, it's complicated. I do want to mention I was told that Annie, our string bassist, her grandmother, who was from Belarus, loved this piece, and Annie was so excited when we played it. So I guess we'll dedicate this to Annie's Baba. Our next piece, Ye Banks and Braes o Bonnie Doon, is by an Australian composer you've probably heard of, especially if you've been to my concerts, Percy Grainger. Grainger gets lumped in a lot with British composers because he does a lot of British stuff, but he's Australian. But he was very interested in folk music. And of course, the British Isles have a much longer tradition of folk music that was recorded and written down for him to draw from. So this is a Scottish song originally, and like a lot of these Scottish ballads, it sounds beautiful while telling just the most depressing story. It's so sweet sounding, and if you read it, it's like, oh my gosh, right? Death all over the place, sadness, these beautiful major chords. So I encourage you to check out those lyrics on your own time, check out the history of this song, and maybe you'll think about it differently after this. So I've talked a lot, undoubtedly too much. about these pieces and their various backstories. And I wanted to end with something very simple, that you don't have to go far from home to enjoy traveling, right? And sometimes you can discover new things and things that you love right close to home. And so our last piece tonight is, this afternoon, I'm sorry, it's very cloudy. Our last piece this afternoon, The Bicycle, is about what? Right, how cool it is to ride a bicycle. And that's our last piece for today.
Thank you.